Alright, you victory owners. Today we're going to attempt to install the cams from Lloyd'z. LS1 cams, I believe. Power programmer. Lloyd'z air cleaner, timing chain, timing gear. All in this 2014 Victory Cross Country 8-ball, the 106 motor. I have some instructions over there on the computer, so I'm going to try to attempt this in my garage. I have some mechanical skills, but we're going to go from there. See how tough this really is. So obviously you're taking off your foot peg, footboard on this right side so you can get to the timing cover. Take your tank off, you know, all that stuff. You can YouTube that, how to do all that. It's on there. Been doing a lot of research in this video. There's bits and parts people putting on there, but they don't actually show how to do it. So I'm going to attempt to show you guys the process here. So, alright, let me get my tools ready and let's get down to business. Alright guys, so we're going to start off right now. It's taking off these bolts right here for the timing chain cover. This here is 5mm or number 5 Allen. So I got an aftermarket dipstick here, so it's kind of in the way, so we'll just get that out of the way here real quick. Get this last one out. It's out. Alright, I thought I had all my tools ready. Of course I don't. Yeah, rubber mallets. Okay. Let me get back to you. Alright, back. So we got the bolts removed. Just a little persuasion to get it off, but it's got some wires here hanging off the sides, so careful. Ain't got too much. Clean it up. Timing chain, pretty easy, self-explanatory. I actually just pop this off here. It's wired. Maybe not. Guess that's good enough. It'll hang for a while. Next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go up and take the valve covers tops off, these bolts here. I moved my wires up out of the way so I can get enough clearance here. Hopefully do that in the back. I heard we're going to need to take these bolts off back here, drop the back of the motor down. So I'm going to do that right now, and we'll be back. Alright guys, I got the bolts out of the back of the motor mount here. You can see there's two bolts, 3/4 inch, and the backbone actually just lifts up. I didn't realize that. I thought maybe the motor dropped down, but actually the backbone separates right there. And it lifts up, so it gives you the clearance to go on top to get these bolts out, get the top of these valves. Front didn't really do much, but we'll check it out. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and pull these bolts up on the top of this valve, top of the cylinder here, and see what happens. Alright, we got all the bolts out. There are a couple of them up top there. Looks like they're all the same size, so I don't have to worry about mixing them up. They are, you know, hex number 5. You're gonna get a regular Allen tool to get up underneath here, kind of tight back up in there. So a regular Allen tool will get you back in there, and then it's pretty much just lifts up, slides out, and there's your top of your cams. Actually pretty easy getting that part done. So, all right. So anyway, now we'll figure out, you know, top dead center. Get this thing pulled apart. Get the cams out of there. And we'll move up to the front one. Might try to just pull the top off of this real quick. That way all that part's done. And oh, by the way, I did use a little punch here. Pushed it through the hole. I don't know if you can see that. Just to kind of hold the backbone up out of the way. But so far so good. I'll take out this front one here and see how hard it is to get it out of there. Alright guys, I got the 10 bolts off the top here. Moment of truth. See if this thing actually comes out of there. Huh. No problem whatsoever. Clearance is no problem. Pretty cool, pretty clean. It's only got less than 5,000 miles on this bike. Yeah, I don't ride much. But when I do, it's pretty fun. Alright, well, we got it to the parts where we can actually get to the nitty gritty. That's the fun part, trying to figure out all this part. Alright, time to go to the manual. See what's next. As you can see, tops are open. Put a light on, I don't know. There we go. You can see. Alright. See what else we can find out. Alright, YouTubers, this is what I got so far. Timing wheel off. Probably get top dead center or close to, so I can get to the bolts, and then the tensioner bolt out of the back. It comes out. It actually, I can't really see it. Puts tension on the chain. I can get it to focus. Pushes on that rod in there. Puts tension on the chain. On the chain, you have to pull that out to loosen the tension on the chain, so you can unbolt the sprocket off the cam. I'm going to do one at a time here, so that way. But anyway, there's marks on it. Kind of, if I can get it to focus. Anyway, there's marks. You'll see there's only one way you can put the cams on, except for front and rear. They're marked on the cams themselves. This is rear. It's for the rear. And they are the VM1s cams from Lloyd'z. So, alright, so I'm going to continue unbolting. There's 4 bolts right down there that holds the cam in there. You can look on the other side. 4 bolts, and also 2 little 10 millimeters. Look on this side. Guess it's just that one. Like I said, I'm learning as I go. Zip tie. Zip tie is for chain so it does not move on the sprocket, so you don't lose your timing. Zip tie it to the sprocket so chain will not be moved out of timing. It's a little trick I've learned going through all different sites. Alright, see what else we can mess up. Alright, YouTubers, guess I got a little carried away a little bit, but I got the cam carrier out of the top. 4 bolts. You can see there, and on the other side. Anyway, 4 bolts. Just take off. When you're taking them off, they sound. It's a bad sound. It's a weird sound. Feels like you're breaking shit, but you're not. But anyway, pull the carrier out, and again, make sure you zip tie the timing chain to the flywheel so it doesn't move on you. There is a hole underneath there that you can put a pin, I guess, in there. I'll probably do that for the front one so the motor doesn't move, but I'm just doing one at a time. I got it over here on my bench. Alright, the cam. There's this little pin that is inside this hole here. Now this bolt that's on top. Take this bolt out, get a magnet or something, or I just turn the thing over. I just turn the thing upside down and dump the pin out. And then the little arms here, get them out of the way. Your cam should just slide right out. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. Again, so you're careful not nicking the sides or anything. So that's it. Rear cam is out. Inspect everything. Looks good. A little wear on it, but not bad. So, see the marks on it? They're going to mark up with the time wheel. Just remember where they are. 1 mark goes 1, 2 goes 2. Pretty simple. Alright, so I'm going to get the new cam, lube it up, slide it in there, put the little pin in, just reverse it. Not too hard. Figured I'd show you old cam, new cam. Super sticky ultra engine lube, assembly lube basically is what it is. I like to put that on there just to help it break it in. So you have a break-in period, of course. No, I didn't change the oil. It's still the old oil. I'll get it warmed up with this break-in lube, and then change the oil. Right now, put this on there so it stays lubricated for your first startup anyway. Definitely don't want a dry startup on these parts. That'll do the most damage. Going very carefully. Don't nick any sides. Like that. Back and forth. It's running good. Smooth. Just drop in your pin. Goes in the groove right now. This little groove right here between the two cams. It rides right in there and locks the cam in from going back and forth. This bolt just keeps that pin coming out. You're supposed to torque that around, but just careful, it's just aluminum block, so you don't want to freaking get in there too damn tight. That's that. See now your rods move on it. So let's go put it back in. Easiest thing to do is to maneuver it top of your valves. Somehow, come on. Curve to this. Not exactly sure what I'm catching on, but ow. Almost there. Just gotta make sure all your pins line up. So down too soon until you get your marks lined up a little bit. Got my little marks here that were on the last one, exactly where they were before. All I gotta do is just put in the bolts and torque them down. And I'll let you know what that is here. I just gotta clean up a little bit and I'll look that up and we'll go from here. Alright, you YouTuber Victory owners. It's 4 bolts. You just put them down there finger tight. You do torque them down to 40 foot-pounds or 480 inch-pounds. But you want to do in a crisscross manner. Start with the front bolt, crisscross to the back bolt, vice versa. Star a little bit at a time until it starts clicking to get it tightened down. Just kind of go around and get it even. A little tension on it. Guess that one wasn't really finger tight. It was loose. I guess when you start cranking down on one side, it moves the other. Let's say you got a crisscross. You want to crisscross them. Take them down as evenly as possible. Just take your time. Reverse it. Sure, at 480 inch-pounds or 40 foot-pounds, depends on which ratchet you got, of course. Alright, not clicking yet. Get to that, close to that point, I can start clicking it. And it's in there pretty good, so. Might just actually back it down a little bit first. Start off with say 25 foot-pounds. There's a click. Crisscross it. Click. Alright, now we'll go back up to your 40 foot-pounds. In this case, I have an inch-pound wrench, it's 480 inch-pounds. Lock it in and finish torquing. Click, click. Shot. Back around, check them all one more time. Click, click. torqued down to the manufacturer's specifications. For the timing wheel, timing chain anyway. Line up the marks that you had before. I mean, there's really no other way you can put the cams in. Just don't rotate the motor when you have this cam off there, or have the timing chain off of there. Because if you rotate the motor at all, you can spin it 180. You can have it, the motor all the way back, basically backwards. And then of course it won't run right. So, as long as you put it back, marks. And you're should be good to go. And then for a quick note, these ones here, you torque them, I believe, to 18 foot-pounds, these sprocket bolts right here. Of course, the one's way down in there. You leave the one on top. You want to make sure you get one in there. Then you can rotate the motor now that you got. You only want to do one at a time. Now that you got one bolt in there, it can't go anywhere. You want to rotate the motor. And to do that, they sell a special tool, of course, to go on the shaft here. But I'm told that a 1 1/16 socket is supposed to go on there, but it doesn't. So I would just put your new timing chain on, timing wheel. Just put your new timing wheel on and use those bolts to turn it. Here, hold on, I'll put it on there and I'll kind of show it in just a second. Okay, I was right. 1 1/16. 1 1/16 does fit on there, but it has to be an 8-side. The 8-sided. First one I tried was 12 or 16 or whatever it was. The 8-side does fit on there. The 1 1/16 does fit on there. It's a little loose. So what I would do is take a rag and kind of put it over it, tighten it up a little bit. That way it's on there. Then you can turn the motor over without a chance of slipping. Make sure you take it easy. It won't, it doesn't turn over too easy. You got the spark plugs out. Helps a lot easier. So anyway, you tighten your bolt up here. Of course, once you get that tight, you can cut your zips tie, and then take and rotate the engine over so you can get to the other bolt that's, of course, going to be down there. Bring it to the top so you can tighten it, and then basically you're done with that side. And then you move yourself to the front side, and when I get this all buttoned up, we'll go to the front side. And I heard it's a little more difficult, so we'll check it out. Alright, I'm back. I'll revisit that timing wheel thing again one more time. Doing an 8. It was a little loose on there. With the rag, it started slipping and kind of marring up the little key. So basically what I did is took the stock timing chain that I'm obviously replacing, welded on a an old socket. Yeah, 3/8 drive socket. So now I can just rotate the motor over without having to go buy the actual key. So if you know anybody who has a welder, you can go to old socket, get a socket. I have a bunch of them, but you should go to your local pawn shop. They have trays of socket, get for $1 or something, even less than that. And weld it on there real quick, and heck, all your other Victory buddies will thank you when they're time to do their cam change. But all right, back to job at hand. Now I can rotate the motor over. After I tighten that, I can get it flipped over, get the other one tightened, and then onto the front one. Cool. All right, guys, I just found the hardest part to this whole job, and that is putting these cam tensioners back in. Pain in the ass. And they basically put tension on the chain. See it down there as a little guide. Put tension on the chain, and they're spring loaded. Of course, when they're kind of like a hydraulic lifter. They got holes in there. When they pressure out, when you start the motor, they pressurize. Well, anyway, found out that if you can get pressure on the back side, just push it in and take your wrench. Take a, it's an 1/16" wrench. Turn it on your wrench while you're putting pressure on the back side, trying to keep it level as possible, so you don't cross-thread it, of course. Man, pain in the butt. But yeah, it's going in good now. So all right, so I about got this back one buttoned up, and then move on to the front one. I just wanted to point that out. These are no fun. You gotta have to pull it out of the front one, and that one might be even more fun. But we'll see. All right. Start on this front one here. I just want to make a quick note. When you're doing these, loosening these tensioners, oil is going to come out because they're basically just like a lifter. See, they got yeah, kind of see they got like little holes in them that the oil gets in there and pressurizes them up, so it has a little pin that pushes on the tensioners. See, it's a pin thing. See, it pushes out. Oil's going to come out. But basically, it just pushes on that little thing in there. So oil's going to come out. Just let you know that. Don't be alarmed. But and then also another, before I forget, there's a little washer on here. Make sure it's on that lip. It's just real thin. If you can see it. Make sure it's on that lip when you're putting it back. If it's off to sideways, it'll warp it, and then you might have a leak. So I caught myself on the back one here. It kind of fell down like this. Let's see if I can get this one to move. There. So it kind of fell down off the ridge. I was tightening it in there, and luckily I didn't torque on too much. I got it back up on the ridge like that and saved it. But all right, so I got my timing chain off, zip tied, cam tensioner loosened, and we're about to loosen those 4 bolts up on the top. And this one, I've heard you can only bring it up so high, and you have to do everything while it's in this area here. Pull the cam out, put the new one in, and bolt it back down. So we'll see kind of got lucky on the back side and got to be able to pull the whole thing out. This one might be a little tight, so might have to do everything right here. It's lifted up high enough to get the old cam out and a new one in. But I'm going to loosen these 4 bolts and go from there. And then again, man, loosen these bolts. They sound like you're breaking shit, but it's just little washers underneath, the crush washers, that are doing that. And then of course it's a big long shaft. It goes all the way through your cylinder heads and goes into the case of the motor down here. So it's one big long bolt. So of course it's gonna make more noise, but just be careful. Cross your fingers you don't snap one off, because if you do that, then, well, you're gonna replace the whole stud, and you have to pull the jugs, and yikes. But anyway, we're gonna loosen those and see where we can go from there. We'll be back. Alright, I'm gonna try to do this watching the whole time, just so you kind of get the idea. This bolt here, you know, you take your bolts off the timing chain, flip it over, put the zip tie in, take the other bolt off, which I did, loosen your tension bolt there, and then you pull this off your camshaft. Of course, you got your line, your marks. Your marks are right here. You can see basically where the number 1 mark is. Well, this one only has, the front one only has an A mark. So the back one has 2 marks, 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom, or vice versa. The front one here only has 1 mark, so the cam can only go in one way. As long as you're not, once you pull this off of the cam, you're not turning the motor over, you'll be able to get it back in exactly how it goes. Alright, so this bolt here, I already loosened it just because I was gonna go ahead and do this, but I want to show you guys all. This bolt here, I just loosened it before I loosened those 4 bolts. That way I have something to stabilize it, in case it was kind of a pain in the butt. But see, there's a pin down in here that holds the cam. Well, you need a magnet or a little strong magnet to get it out. I don't have one that'll fit down in there, but I got this big thing, and you can stick it to a piece of metal, which counteracts as a magnet, and you should be able to work that pin out of there, just like that. See? There's the pin that stabilizes the cam. Got that out of there by just putting a magnet to a piece of metal, strong magnet, piece of metal, pulled it out of there. Just wiggle your cam back and forth a little bit, kind of free it up so it'll pull out. Alright, so that part's done. Alright, here's the 4 bolts. 4 bolts that hold the cam bracket in. They're tight. Ugh. See what it sounds like when you loosen them? You don't want to take it all the way out. But just listen. See? It just sounds bad when you take them off, but it's just how it comes off. The other side here. Listen to that. Ooh, it sounds. Oh man, that sounds bad. Let's just loosen it. Let's loosen it up. Alright, 4 bolts loose. Alright. Now let's take these 4 bolts all the way out. There's washers underneath. So just bolts out. Get the washer out of there. Kind of a pain. There's your washer. Take all 4 of those out. It's really, guys, super easy, really. If you have any kind of mechanic skills, you can change a tire on a car. This probably wouldn't be too bad for you. And I wouldn't go that far, I guess. Tire a car, a little bit. Mechanic skills, it's not hard at all. Oh, nice, that washer just came up with the bolt. That's nice. Alright. Last one. Just taking out this forked one on the back side, on the left side here. Lift that old cam carrier out. Again, this is just for the LMV. Mild cam, but still enough to ruin your tire. Alright. That's that. Then their carrier picks right up, just like that. And they are correct. Are they correct? Yes, you cannot take this one out of here. Yeah, this one you cannot take out all the way like I had in the last one. It's close, but yeah. So what we'll do is just do it right here where it's at. I think what I'm gonna do is get a screwdriver or something. Put underneath there to prop it up, hold it up for me. Okay. Well, so that's not gonna work. But anyway. Just gonna do it right here. Cam out of the carrier. And see, there's only one major mark on it right there. And that's where it'll line up when I put it back in. The new one right here. It's got one mark. VM1 Just line it up with your mark on your timing wheel. No problem. When you get these new, you want to wash these off with some brake cleaner. Get them all washed off first, and then put your assembly lube on it before you put it back together. Just to be cautious, make sure you got all the machining metal fragments off of it, little nook and crannies. So, all right, I'm gonna go wash this off and lube it up, and be right back. Alright, back. We're all lubed up, ready to go in. And you want to try not to nick the sides. Your lifters are all out of the way. Some really gooey stuff I got there. Get your rock arms kind of to deal with too, so you gotta make sure they're out of the way too. Nice and easy, just like that. See in there? Rotates just fine. See your mark right there. I have my mark up, so basically just set it back down on the bolts. Make sure your rocker arms are in their positions. You know, don't want them bending over, but make sure they're up on the valves. Now I see little mark right there, 1 and 1. Marks line up still. Means it's right back where it was the last one, because they're cut, you know, same way, but of course a little bit bigger lobes. What I do is just start one of these bolts. Start one of these bolts in here before I do anything else. Start it in there, so that way it's on. It's on there. So, and then before you tighten it down, I would put your little rod back in there. Gotta move that just kind of slides right in there. Move your camshaft until it slides in there. Bolt on so it's going anywhere. Just a little bit tight. And that's pretty much it, man. Your cams are back in. You just go back around and tighten up the bolts. Oh, nice. The front tension thing goes on a heck of a lot easier when before you bolt it all up. Just start it. Couple threads. Just learned something right there. Get your little tensioner on the side here. There, let me grab you here. This little tensioner right there. that started in while you got some slack in the chain. I know my camera skills aren't the greatest, but get that started in. You don't have to tighten it all the way yet, but got it all lined up. Go back over and put your 4 bolts back in, and then of course you do the diagonal just like you did on the back. Cross, 40 foot-pounds, 480 inch-pounds. Turn the motor over with your homemade sprocket or whatever. I'd buy the tool if I were you, or if you know a guy that welds, or if you have a welder, make your own. But I advise that. That's probably a good idea to have one of those tools to rotate the motor over. You don't want to use the start button, you know, do with the starter, because you can't control it and it'll flip it all the way over and you can ruin something. So, but I'm trying not to make this video too long, but so I'm just gonna go ahead and torque those 4 bolts in and start putting it back together. Alright guys, I got the 4 bolts up here, torqued down to 480 inch-pounds, so 40 foot-pounds. See? Then I got to make sure you tighten up this little guide pin. Don't forget to tighten that up. Just snug tight. I mean, it just holds that pin in there. Now, this little bolt here is supposed to be 18 foot-pounds. Snug is good. I don't have an adapter for small. It's 8 millimeter. But anyway, now we got that all tightened down. You can cut the zip tie, because you know your chain's not going to fall, move, or anything like that. Take your little homemade, my little homemade socket here. You can turn the motor over, just like that. It doesn't take much. Let the spark plugs out. There's the other bolt, right there. 8 millimeter. And the other thing I do is put a little Loctite on them. Little blue Loctite on them. Put it in there. That. That's basically your cam job, man. It's that simple. Now you just go back and put your valve covers back on, and then I'm going to install the Lloyd'z timing chain. The Lloyd'z timing chain on here. Lloyd's air cleaner. Give me some plugs to take out the O2 sensors, eliminate those, put the plugs in there. Got the power programmer already mapped to the closest what I have. Basically, I got stock exhaust still, what they're drilled out. Sound pretty good. At least it'll get me until I get it to a dyno. These things are snug. There, that's it, man. Put the valve covers on and put it back together. Piece of cake, guys. Really. Anybody can do it. Pretty much anybody. If you know how to get your bike down to this much, of course you don't have to do extensive fairing remover. I did that because I'm actually doing a total rebuild on it. Rear fender's off. Yeah, that thing's not going to look the same. I'm getting different wheels come in. So it's going to be badass when I'm done. So, alright, man. Any questions? Put them in the comments below. Alright there, guys. That's a cam job. We got the valve covers back on, bolted down. Lloyd's timing chain, I got it at 4 degrees. I got to clean out the gasket. Put the cover back on. Gonna put the bolts back in the backbone, of course. Bolt that back down. Gonna put the Lloyd's air cleaner. Put that on next. And of course I gotta program it. Put the power programmer in there. And spark plugs. So I'm gonna replace those while I'm in here. And that's it, man. That's pretty much it for a cam install. It's really not too bad. Yeah. You just got a couple tools. Anybody can really do it. Of course, once you put the cams in, you have to put a power programmer in or a fuel management system just to get it to run right. But other than that, it's a piece of cake. And I do want to make sure, let everybody know I'm not responsible if you fuck up your own bike. It's just for educational purposes only, and have fun, ride safe. Talk to you guys later.